The man Seth is releasing a video. Now whenever Seth is releasing a video, you know I'm gonna come in with a suit and be ready to watch that beautiful nonsense man talk and yap about all around things. But before we get into that video, I want to say thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you like the video itself and sub to the channel if you enjoy these kind of reactions. Now this is gonna be a long and a fun ride because this video is 20 minutes. Jesus Christ, this is gonna be fun.
There is an unwritten rule in
bro. What is going on? So just as you don't know, Seth videos are a pure masterpiece. Normal human men can never figure out and depict and create these kind of masterpieces he creates. So I'm very excited to look at this. It's gonna be great.
Right in the YouTube landscape, you must unconditionally love India, because no matter how powerful or self-important you feel as a YouTuber, you bow to the same tech center in New Delhi, and you live by their mercy, because with a single click, Rakesh and Pajit can evaporate your entire existence. My channel is firmly aligned with Lord Ganesha and the Indian people, for your tech support is now your tech master.
Exactly.
Hey people, Seth,
India number one.
Battlecry Free is a 20-year-old fantasy RTS.
20-year-old?
Playing appropriately, we'll be playing this on my laptop, which may be described as a haphazard collection of live
that thing is gonna burn up, huh?
If you ever touch the top of it, but personally, I like to call it rustic. Many years ago, it stopped working until I dug up the instruction manual and ripped out the thermal sensor. This is
in a laptop.
Safe. Don't let the warped Avril Lavigne and M&M stickers tell you otherwise. It
Dude, this
no
brings
longer
me back.
support a battery, and I jury-rigged a new power switch because I broke the old one. But hey, it's got excellent airflow, and the exposed left speaker is a fun and entertaining fidget toy for all to enjoy. Just as long as you don't move it, touch it, and whatever you do,
this is ADHD to the maximum.
Because that's how you get burns.
Wait, what the?
That served me
he
well.
Cooked that beef. He cooked that steak on it. Oh my god.
Served me well. My sponsor, who keeps rewriting all of my lines. Hey gang, tell me something. Do you like being spied on? Being watched? Having
it's so
every
fun.
Single move you make cataloged and sold off to the highest bidder?
That's right. Kiryu Kazuma feet.
It should, because if you're
now, isn't that an AI photo?
You're located in a land of the free, home of the profits. That's right, the US of A. That's exactly what your ISP is doing right now. It's true, your star-spangled corporate overlords are actually allowed to store logs of every website you visit, and it is their legal right to sell your data to anyone. That's why I use ExpressVPN.
Thank God.
ExpressVPN reroutes your internet.
Thank God we have ExpressVPN
servers, so your internet provider,
because they would definitely not sell your information too, would they?
Can't see or log what you do online. Now,
they surely would not.
No, not that.
They are our savior.
The VPN from logging your data instead. I'll tell you, integrity. Many VPNs claim to have a no logs policy, but then get caught logging their customers' data. ExpressVPN is the only VPN I can trust because they use trusted server technology.
That's right.
In fact, they were the first major VPN to have servers that run entirely off RAM, making it impossible for them to log your data.
Hell yeah, brother.
My word for
That's
it.
right.
ExpressVPN is so confident
you show them the freedom you got.
They even had one of the world's biggest assurance firms, PricewaterhouseCoopers, audit their privacy policy and server technology. Now that's what I call integrity.
That's
Stop
right.
those pesky loggers in their tracks and download ExpressVPN today and visit expressvpn.com.
I gotta sign up right now.
Find out how you can get free months for free. Also, turns out everything I did before was completely unnecessary because this game works on Windows 10. The early 2000s
it
gave us
does
a lot of RTS games.
Not many old games do.
The same mechanics were so standard that no one deviated from the orthodoxy. It was only later that the genre had its theological schism, resulting in squad-based RTS and eventually culminating in what's known as the League of Legends heresy that plagues us to this very day. Warlords Battlecry Free is no different. It's Age of Empires, except the Turks have a much more accurate depiction. You collect resources, build buildings, produce troops, and crush your enemy. There's nothing entirely unique here, except your hero, of which there are 28 different classes and 17 different races.
That's pretty cool.
Anything this game lacks in originality, it makes up for with a sheer volume of content. And the main way to experience this is through the campaign, which is largely a multi-choice sandbox where you travel across the land looking for an excuse to kill someone. Story. You play
what a great
as a cosmic ICE agent, receiving a report
now who in
that
the
Gorgon,
hell?
fifth horseman of the apocalypse, has illegally crossed the Aetherian border.
Oh, we can't have that, brother.
To cut grass for $7
That's right.
an hour.
Get him
as
out.
an undocumented illegal.
Yeah.
We can't let this go on.
That's
so
right.
We ask for dark dwarfs. That's not racist. For
Uh-huh.
dwarves of color to cast
What the
earthquake on his illegal encampment and
What
seal
the
him
fuck?
inside for all eternity.
There's absolutely no consequence to ignoring the story, and even if
What?
you finish it, you get a pop-up saying, Gorgon has been sealed, now go explore. There's
Imagine how great the world would be if Genshin never existed. What a
no
heaven ain't
conclusion,
real,
no
man.
final battle, and you don't even get to see him. This is the literary equivalent of a toddler starting a sentence, forgetting where he was, and going to sleep. And just as well, because story is not the focus. By far,
Oh.
the best part of this game is the community, which is extremely passionate, to say the least. You'll have people in comments saying things like, Death Knight is the best, and immediately someone will come out of the woodwork, proclaim that their Fey assassin is
Bro,
going to
this guy's mad.
and question the fidelity of their parents' marriage. Which brings us to the focus of my hyperfixation,
What?
finding, objectively, the best build in a game that's popular with a 10 or so Polish men that still play it. In the process,
We
I'll
gotta
talk
load
about each
those
race.
old Polish guys that are still
The
playing dead
Celestine Empire
games.
is a race that answers the question of
We
what do
appreciate
have
them.
with whatever you want. Because apparently, the only barrier between recruiting demons and vampires to join your ranks
How is this India?
economic. They can pay for random mercenaries that give a taste of every race. Their tech tree is sensible, and they have access to spell research, which, if you stall the mission, unlocks every spell in the game. Alchemist specializes in alchemy, which is the original reason I got into this game, because the very first spell you get, cast at a high enough level, creates max level items out of thin air. This includes
Well, that
set
sounds
items
convenient.
that are unique to the campaign. This leads to a situation where you spawn in, drink your mana pots, print everything you want, and resign the mission. Everything in
Wow.
your hero's backpack is saved, which can be sold in the market for infinite money to spend on infinite supplies and reinforcements. And then we go from ridiculous to game-breaking by casting spell forward.
I wonder who made that decision and didn't see the flaw in that. I didn't think for a second, wait, maybe this breaks the entire game.
which doubles the effect of all your items, turning your alchemist into the strongest unit in the game. Shenanigans include, but are not limited to, having armor so high you can't take damage, doubling your mana regeneration to fill up in seconds, to abusing double rings of resurrection for a 40% chance to revive your entire army each time you take a swing.
I have the body of a god!
Barbarians are a fine race. You can set them on fire to go berserk. They're cheap, spammable, and effective against larger units. Regardless of class, all heroes are melee. The only exception is an ice mage, who can give himself ranged attacks by casting ice flow. This represents my first failed experiment because the investment is massive and the payoff is garbage. Everything ice magic does, pyromancy does better. And who
Well, that
better
sounds
for it
about right.
than a demon?
Blood heals.
I feel like in any game, fire magic is always better than frost. Like every game, fire beats frost.
Purifies me.
Demons are resource hungry and have
Bro,
some
that's
of the
a lot
most
of nuggets.
obnoxious hitboxes.
Did that
for their
man
buildings.
eat all
But
of
if you
that?
survive the late game, you
Can you
automatically
imagine
win
eating so
because
much
you're
food?
the only race that doesn't pay
What the
for
fuck?
troops. More importantly, demon heroes snack on souls, which are formed by enemies after being killed by a succubus. This is the quickest way to get mana, and with the right items, I can summon my own army of them and use them as a self-sustaining mana battery. Combine that with pyromancy, and every free souls you chow down is another Armageddon inside your enemy's base. It's my sincere opinion that the funnest build in this game is a Necromancer. But
That
since
sounds
we've
about
already get
right.
Necromancy is an undead racial, we play a sage for reasons that I shall explain.
From dust we come, to dust we go.
Undead are
10
one
out
of
of
the
10
most unique
line.
races in this game because they
Man,
don't
what
make their own
the-
troops. Instead, you have
this game
skeletons,
actually
which
is
can
pretty
be
cool.
morphed at any time into a higher tier unit along different
He was
upgrade
like
paths.
50
One of
years old.
these
I'll
is
play
a
this
Wraith,
game for sure. I love this.
which may be the earliest
I haven't played an
example of
RTS in
ASMR.
so
Wraiths
long.
are the only unit in the game that directly steal XP from units they kill, which includes heroes and even your own troops. So we summon skeletons, which with a memory skill spawn with extra XP, sacrifice them to our Wraith, and grind it to level 20. 2 max level Wraiths are usually enough to solo the entire campaign. But why stop there? Using divination magic, we can cast Mind Leech, which gives affected melee troops the exact same ability as the Wraith. Zombies have access to Feast of Gorak, an ability that converts dead bodies into resources. As wiki users
convenient.
pointed out, unit abilities scale with level. So we summon a horde of skeletons, Mind Leech our zombie, and grind him to level 20. If we summon thralls from a cage, delete them with Ctrl D and feast their bodies, he prints out more resources than we originally put in. By having an
What?
infinite money printer and infinite power scaling, we're no longer playing the same game.
Dude, I feel like this game has too many loops of infinity. I don't know who made this, but y'all pop it out. You gotta calm down a little bit.
Victory is no longer
This is
the objective,
crazy.
but rather a natural consequence of leaving my max
Oh,
level
how you
demon
doing? Welcome.
unattended.
I am invincible!
Fae
Wow.
are whimsical creatures of the forest,
Look, he's
and a
Tulio.
growing problem because of their built-in victory timer. That's because lore is the most busted research in the game. They're also a cognito hazard,
What the fuck is that?
in a sense that the longer
What
you hear
is
them,
that?
the longer you can't unhear them. At some point, you'll be producing troops so fast, they'll be spamming their voice lines in unison.
I would rather not.
This is when most players are driven insane.
Yeah, I
Imagine
can
a
understand
hero
that.
can outrun and insta-kill any unit in the game. Now imagine they also have access to illusion magic and can make themselves invisible. There's many builds out there, and assassins counter all of them.
Breathe deeply.
Plague Lords are the servants of King Ass Ripper, a direct manifestation of anything that
There he
lives or
is.
survives
There's the guy.
Indian sewage system. They have a contamination mechanic that accelerates disease. Unfortunately, the condition is only useful for punishing retreats and doesn't really help you during a fight. That doesn't mean you can't make them work. A ranger can stack points into taming, which adds XP to every unit
What do you
considered a
mean by
monster.
that?
For Plague Lords, this definition applies to almost everything, which is never relevant because you'll win the game by spamming slimes. After each mission, you get a selection of your most veteran troops that you can add to your retinue. Since this will always be slimes, I find it
Washington,
incredibly
thank you
funny
for 5
because
gifted
along with their
subs. Thank you
veterancy,
so
they get a
much.
name. It's no longer just
Thank
a slime.
you. That's
It's
so
fragile.
nice.
Also,
Holy
I never
legend.
checked which voice lines
What an
I gave my
absolute
ranger,
legend.
which is
Thank you.
apparently
Lock up your children.
What?
Discord moderator.
No, not the
The
Discord
Seraphi
mods.
are lizard man with dinosaurs. These
Hi.
are the old depictions.
Thank you. Thank
before
you for the
people
5
realized
gifts.
that
Thank you
God
so
just
much.
made
That's so
oversized
nice of you.
chickens. A defiler can poison everyone and then cast rot for it to take maximum effect. This translates to an instantaneous loss of 90% of the enemy's HP and a guaranteed win for every fight, unless they're fighting orcs who are completely immune.
Scream louder!
Orcs are a melee race.
Scream louder!
Orcs are
Damn.
melee race possessing the goofiest siege weapon in the game, the gob shooter. The gob
Look,
shooter
they included
shoots
yeah, they did
goblins,
include
which often
Julio.
die from the impact, but occasionally survive as
He's right
impact
there.
goblins. They're not
There
even
is.
remotely viable unless you
Our
play
Discord
merchants.
mods.
Merchants do absolutely nothing except sit at the back of a base and hope they don't get murdered. The trade-off is that the merchant skill and charisma reduce the cost of everything. You can play almost any race of merchant. I just have so many spellcasters to cover that I needed a place to put this.
I love the smell of entrails in the morning.
Dwarves are the ideal race for turtling. Their engineers count as 2 workers each time they occupy a mine, and they have a rush mechanic that revolves around excess drinking. Do you like gambling? Do you
I
like
love
griefing
gambling.
yourself? Because
Book.
playing a shaman is the ultimate gamble core experience.
sounds about right. Is the crit chance?
99% quit before they win big. And the higher your skill in chaos magic, the higher the roll in both directions. So you either double your stats or
Thank you,
reduce
Wake.
your
Have a
army's
good one,
HP to
dude.
1 and rage quit the game. There is no in between. Either I win or I kill myself. However, you can't go lower
What
than
the-
1. So if you
what
morph
the
speed of
odds?
dwarf berserkers or siege equipment, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. The most important feature of playing dwarves is that they have the best towers in the game and benefit twice as much from garrison troops. And now, thanks to the power of RNG, they've become automatic machine guns that cut down entire armies. It's not the quickest strategy, but it's the only one that turns this game into a tower defense.
Burn the forests.
Oh,
Strip
wise
the
tree.
land.
Alternatively, you
Oh,
can do pretty
Elven
much the same
forests.
with dark dwarves. They're more siege
What are
focused than
these
their
photos
counterparts
of
and
the
replace
fucking
their
Donald
armies with
Trump?
golems. Because their basic builder can instantly repair for free, your towers are practically invincible. And in the event they do actually go down, you occupy them with suicide bombers that kill whoever's responsible. A rune master lets you build quicker, and absolutely nothing else. Rune magic might actually be worse than ice.
Nobody expects the Aetherian Inquisition.
Knights are a cavalry-centric race that's very beginner-friendly. Night Lords are goofy because they give you global morale, which makes every unit attack faster and increases your population cap. I didn't know that last part, which is actually very important for summoners. Buildings are your main source of pop cap, but in some missions, you can't build. So it's worth having a few points in leadership, because otherwise, you might not be able to summon anything. After teching up to level 5, every race can produce their Titan. These are incredibly powerful units that can't be replaced. And the only thing comparable to
Those
their
are
power
big
is another
boys.
Titan. After sinking 30 levels into healing magic, a healer can cast Resurrection at level 3. Normally, this revives your dead units. At level 3, this revives everything, including the enemy and their Titan, under your direct control.
Wow. Skibidi toilet. Dude, I don't understand that at all.
Filter new players. And there's a very simple reason. Their builders can't occupy mines. Dark Elves at least have a solution to this problem, and it's called slavery. They're the most magically proficient race with a broad range of spellcasters.
What are they turning them
Assassins
into?
Can one-tap enemies, blackguards can do sneak attacks, and their heroes have some of the most photogenic portraits. Dark Elf baddie with blood running down her eyes.
I like
will
the theme art.
captivate
That's
the
pretty cool.
undisciplined gamer. Men enjoy the goth girl aesthetic because it represents a woman that's externally consistent with her inner state.
That's
That
right.
is to say, evil. Druids get a lot of summons.
was that?
Treants are good tanks and faster builders, while unicorns compensate for the race's complete lack of healing. Nature magic isn't insanely powerful, but it's a good mix of everything.
Let lesser races beware.
Endowed with long life and extreme prejudice, which they describe as pattern recognition, high elves are the canonical quirked-up white boys of Etheria. There's something very poetic about high elves refusing lower-class labor, preferring that I summon hordes of demons to occupy their minds instead. A summoner is not only the perfect complement to elves, it's the only one that's viable, because we need to gate in a lot of demons to give them time to execute their strategy. All elves produce wisps, which are their basic builder. 4 of these can merge together to form
it's
an
like
ancient
Warcraft.
wisp, which generates crystal each second. The whole point of this race is the endless feedback loop of infinite crystal economy, which only accelerates the longer the game goes. Then you make a bunch of archers and steamroll everything, because a fully upgraded high elf army has almost no answer to it.
I've been a bad girl.
Wood
Okay,
elves
you
are
gotta
practically
calm
the same
down.
race, but worse.
Hey,
they have the same
yo.
problems, but bulkier buildings. Their only saving grace is the
I
Dryad,
always
which
love
is
I always love like elves in these games, because it's like, how are we gonna fight the enemy? By building more tree, of course.
the source of all the horny quotes
Nature
in the
will
game.
get them.
Oh, yes. Oh, do that again.
Jesus
But what if
Christ.
I told you, after theory
Hey,
crafting all
yo!
of these numerous,
Hey,
diverse, and
yo!
interesting builds, I've been bell curved, because the lowest IQ knuckle dragger will reach the same conclusion as the upper percentile. Just play a warrior. Everything a mage can do, a
Warrior
does
best
better.
class.
It's in the name of the title. It's
Just
called
go.
Warlords Battlecry 3, not
True.
neurodivergent caster that needs 30 levels to get good. Who cares about your exploits when the average warrior will just click a corner of
Giga
the map
Chad.
and solo the entire mission?
That's
His
right.
only weakness is running out of health potions, which is why you play a minotaur. Minotaurs have some of the fewest but most upgradable units in the game, but most importantly, they have sheep. Sheep cost 1 gold per unit and can be snacked on by minotaurs to restore their health. So we flood the map with a portable health supply.
That sounds
for
a
your
little bit
one-man
annoying,
army.
though.
If you're playing this correctly, you should be able to
Oh,
see
you bring them all with
absolutely
you.
nothing. However, after everything I've been through, I refused to accept this answer. There had to be something better. There must. And I think I found it. Coincidentally, Swarm is the first race I ever played because I thought the name sounded cool. And what did I get? Ants. But regardless, we play Swarm because their race have access to Constitution, which adds 10 HP per level. Class doesn't matter, just any caster that has access to arcane magic. And now we create the most hyper-specific build possible. 10 points in arcane and dump the rest into Constitution. You need exactly 31 points of intelligence, which gives you 113 mana. The rest goes to dexterity because we are pathetically weak and need to outrun the enemy. We require the following items: 2 Fey Harps, a Wizard's Banner, a Staff of a Master, a Robe of the Archmage, and most importantly, a Paladin's Helm. First, we cast Mana Flow, which stacks with the 2 harps to give us 45% reduced spell cost. Then you cast Empower, which increases spell strength by 50%, and Command, which stacks with a Wizard's Banner to increase our area of effect. Destruction is the last spell of the Arcane Spellbook that deals the spellcaster's current
What
HP
the-
-1 to everything on screen,
Bro, is that
including the
nuke?
caster. But because we empowered it, we deal 150% of our HP, which
How does this
kills
look
us in the
balanced?
process. Unless you're under the effect of Life Ward, a healing spell that saves the caster from death. People found out about this, multiplayer was instantly broken, and it was patched out of the game.
Sounds about
Healer
right.
no longer has access to Arcane. That is, unless you're wearing a paladin's helm, which has an on-hit chance of casting Life Ward. So we start the game, build a wall,
I didn't get
our
that
hero
part.
to attack the wall, and charge his paladin's helm. Then we walk up to the enemy, cast Destruction, and walk back with full HP. At level 48 with 610 HP, you can one-shot the strongest titan in the game. But is it worth it?
It's like
No,
a
I
cheat
did all
code.
this
It
so I could
is.
cast one spell, one time.
They
and then have
broke
to
the
wait,
game.
Like 10 minutes before I can do it again. I've rationalized myself into a corner, and I'm back to the middle of a bell curve. What have we learned today?
We learned that
2004
all games can be fucked up in everywhere
RTS
possible.
is the peak of being a midwit. Increases your risk of writing.
Oh, this guy. Remember this guy? Oh my god, this guy. This was stupid. I couldn't even listen to this guy talk for 5 minutes.
Video essays and accelerates your Alzheimer's by expanding the Swiss cheese
That's
in your
right.
brain. In high school, we used to choke
Joe
each other
Biden.
out during art class to get high. This went on for a while until the teacher caught us.
I remember this. People did this in my middle school. Did y'all do this? I didn't do it. I thought this was stupid. People used to choke each other at a certain point so people would pass out. And they thought it was funny. Like they wanted to be choked to pass out. And they thought it was funny. I remember that. A lot of people did this. I don't know.
To get high. This went on for a while until the teacher caught us. I guess what I'm trying
They had to have like a mass gathering because it became a problem. Too many people did it.
to say with this is Warlords Battlecry Free is great, mindless fun. And I say this objectively because I
To a
have no
kinky
prior
school?
nostalgia.
Listen, we didn't think about those kind of things then. Right? We didn't think about that at all.
There's clearly a lot of love and passion put into the making of this game. There's little details that still surprise me, like how you can load cows as catapult ammunition, which gives
You can load cows as ammunition?
game a lot of charm. The voice acting is hammy, the music is beautiful, and the campaign is very replayable. Unfortunately, sometimes the game does crash. This often happens when crossing regions. You get a random encounter and it fails to build the random map. If this happens, play a skirmish or move backwards on the map and this will usually fix it. I thoroughly recommend that you don't buy it on Steam. GOG uses official patch 1.0 free, while Steam uses the unofficial patch, which made a very unpopular change.
Which
All
is-
summoned units come with a timer, and when this expires,
Oh, that is
they
boring.
die.
Yeah,
This
that's
completely
cringe.
destroys a lot of builds, so for the sake of your enjoyment, get a copy from GOG. Use offer code ChastityCage for
Smart.
45%
Great
off.
sponsor.
There should be a sale, and if there isn't, I'll personally send you a free download link. Your
Thank you.
graphics card may run a little hotter than usual, but I assure you, my Ethereum miner will take no more than 10%. As
Well, thank God.
always, more content to come. So
It's
stay
worthy
tuned.
the
A warm
cost.
thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
What a great video. True. True, Mr. President. What an ending. What an ending. What happened to the Patreon thingy? Anyways, that was something. That was such a fun video. I enjoyed that. That was a little bit different from what I usually watch, but I love watching Seth. That's funny. That's funny. That felt like a fever dream in my eyes. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure you like the video itself. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. We gotta wait. Hold up a moment. Jesus Christ. We gotta wait a little bit. Jesus. But yeah, if you like this video itself, make sure you like the video itself. Sub to the channel if you enjoy this kind of reaction, and I'll see you next time. Now I get you back to this notification. Peace.